Alright, take two of trying to make this video. Middle of a flight right now. Microsoft 2020. Figure I'd talk to you guys about the books I've read in January. The book I'm currently reading, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish by the time of January is done. So, making this a little early. I'll share with you guys what I got. Alright, all these books, or yeah, pretty much all these books are library books. So I don't have the hard copies of them. So a lot of these, I'm just going to show you the picture of the said book. These aren't in order of read. I think these are in order of alphabetical. So the first one is Exiles by Jane Harper. This is the third book of her Aaron Falk series, where each book follows Aaron. It's not really a story series, it's a character series. So there's probably going to be, there might be more. Set in Australia, Jane Harper, I'm really starting to, well, not really starting. I do like her works. Like I said, this is the third book. I think she's a very good atmospheric author. Not so much in this third book as in the first two. This book is set in wine country. Aaron Falk is going to a small town where his good friend lives because he's going to be the godfather at a baptism. So, small town, friend, and the friend has friends, and they're all know each other really well because it's a small town. I'm repeating myself, but that's what it is. And a while ago, one of the friend's wives disappeared, and they don't know what happened to her. So this whole book is kind of how Aaron, basically following Aaron Falk through it and seeing how Aaron is able to solve it. This is the third book, and this is the first time where there's really any kind of love relationship that Aaron has. That is also another element that's different from the other two. Florida Kill. I like to describe this book as if Grand Theft Auto, the video game, were a book, especially, or more specifically, Vice City. Or if you want to think of, the Florida Man, that's what this book is. It's just kind of fun, kind of crazy, a lot of drugs, a lot of drinking, some murders, some creative ways people are murdered. I think there's 23 of these books, and the author just recently passed away. There might be only 23. This book came out in the late 90s, so 98, 99. So this is probably GTA, before GTA. But if you do know GTA, the characters I would relate them to is Brucey from GTA 4 or Trevor from GTA 5. Just those people are just kind of off the wall, kind of crazy. This follows, I think every book, as far as I'm aware of, follows one person, and that person is kind of like the serial killer. And it's not really a scary serial killer. He's more of a serial killer where he kills people who kind of get in his way. I think they say he's kind of has a mental problem. But like I said, there's 23 of these. I'm definitely going to be reading more of them. I would say they're just off the wall, kind of crazy. Some of the acts portrayed in this book are like, it reminds me of GTA, just kind of how crazy they are. Mistborn, my first Brando Sando, or Brandy Sandy book. I decided to start with Mistborn just because that was his earlier reads. I don't know if I overhyped myself, but I don't want to say I was let down because I did enjoy it. Definitely going to be reading the rest of the series, but maybe I just thought that would be better than what it was, and maybe that's just a me thing. I know they said this is kind of his first published book, and that The Way of Kings, right, is better because he's got more practice. So I'll be reading those eventually, but I'm going to be reading the Mistborn series first with Final Empire, right? I really do like the magic system in this book, how you're kind of born with it, but what you're born with is pretty weak, and you have to use the metal to enhance your abilities. I like that kind of restraint that he puts on the characters. And I like the idea of the mist as well, just because it's kind of the unknown aspect, the mist that I do like as well. Definitely gonna be reading the other books. I need to start finishing series and stop, or I need to start finishing series and stop starting series. So this is probably gonna be one of those books I'm gonna be trying to finish. Remarkably Bright Creatures. This was the most recent book I've read. It's just kind of a fun book. I'm not a big high drama kind of person, and this book is very low to no drama. So that's what I really enjoyed with it. And besides, you get a perspective from an octopus, which is actually a nice, fun perspective to have. There's a little mystery in this story, but it's not a mystery where, I mean, you know the result of the mystery, you know the answers to the mystery. The mystery part of the book is just how are the characters going to come to that same realization that you had from like the middle of the book. I mean, the octopus basically comes out straight away and tells you what's going on, but you're just trying to figure out when are these other people going to start catching on to what's going on. Darling House, this is a book I was really looking forward to. I've read Alex's first book, Thousand Doors of January, and with me, the more fantastical a book gets, the harder it is for me to understand it because I'm just a simple brain. And her first book kind of went along those lines where some parts with it were too fantastical for me, where it's kind of hard to wrap my head around. Starling House takes a step back from that, which made me really enjoy this book more. I really like the idea of like a house being a character, like a living house, and that has that element as well. I think the cover really portrays the mood or the vibe of the story as well. And the nice surprise that I found out is that there's actually art within the pages, which really helps you understand the settings of what's going on as well. They're pretty good looking art as well. Bullet Swallower, this was the book of the month. It's in the West. I don't really know if I have much to say about this. Kind of hard to follow from the beginning to the point where I went to Goodreads and read the reviews just to see what was actually going on, kind of the synopsis of the story to get a better understanding of it. And actually that helped me a lot. So much so that the second half of the book I really enjoyed a lot more because I had a better understanding of what was going on. And I do like the Western theme. Actually a pretty cool cover now that I got it blown up. Pretty cool. The Housemaid, I think this book really underwhelmed me. I was really looking forward to it. It wasn't bad. It's just the characters I just didn't really care about. There's one other book, and the third book is coming out or just came out. And this is a character-driven series. I just don't care about the characters or the main character as well. So I'll probably read the second one eventually, just not on my priority. And a little rant is that I don't like misleading covers. Like it says, from behind closed doors, she sees everything with the eye through a keyhole. Not once, spoiler alert, has this action ever happened in the story. There's never a point where she's behind a door looking through a keyhole and she sees something that she's not supposed to see. That doesn't happen at all. So it's a very misleading cover. And I find that really frustrating. Wayward, I'd pick this book up because it was the winner of the historical fiction from Goodreads. It was all right. Just I don't think it was meant for me. The thing I did enjoy about this is that there's three perspectives from three different time periods. And what I really liked trying to puzzle together was how all three of these perspectives were going to kind of come together. And I really like that part. Each individual perspective as a standalone. I mean, I could have done without, but I did really like how all three of them, especially when they're all three different time periods, how they all kind of come together. And that was the last one. So I think there's 8 total. I'll show you here just a second. I'll show you kind of the books I'm reading actively right now. One of the active books I'm reading is Atalanta. This is a book I bought from a gift card from Christmas. So I was reading this book, and then I had a lot of books on hold, and all those books came in. So this book kind of took a back seat to the other books I read because those other books have a deadline. So I'm actively reading this one. I'm reading like a chapter a day just to keep the progress going. It is not really hitting it for me so far right now. I think I have it rated as a 2-star as I'm reading it, and it's gonna probably have to take a lot for me or a lot for the book bump it up to 3-star for me. And then the other book I'm actively reading is Ninth House, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't really understand the Goodreads part of it because I think the overall rating is 4 stars. But if you go down to the individual rating or the individual reviews on the main page, there's a lot of 2-star and DNFs and 3 stars, which I don't know if that's just something Goodreads that's goofy about, or people review bomber because of who knows why. But I really enjoy it. I really like the setting of the school setting. So I really like Hogwarts. I know Red Rising also has that school setting. And this one has a school setting as well, except for it's a little different because it's at an actual college, which makes it a little different. About 150 pages in, or 140, 120-ish, whatever, somewhere around there. And I am really enjoying it right now. Can't really say much about it, but there's nothing really negative. There's one negative for me personally would be that it's maybe some parts are a little too fantastical, where some parts are kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. And I'll show you my TBR right now. So the library books I have currently that I need to read are Malice of Crows, which is the 3rd book of the Shadow series. And I think this series, from what I've seen online, is underrated. I don't see a lot of people talking about it. I mean, there's like almost 800 reviews. I feel like that's pretty low for a book that came out in 2017. I have The Outsider by Stephen King. And then I don't think I have it on my TBR, but I probably should add it. It's the 3rd book from the Age of Madness, and I don't remember what the title of that book is called. But those are the 3 books I have currently from the library. And then one thing I'm doing for this year is that each month there's going to be a genre where I pick a book from that genre and read it for that month, just so I can widen my scope of books that I read. And so January was fiction, which I read. Remarkably Bright Creatures was my fiction book that I read for that month. And so February is being romantasy. And for that one, I have A Court of Thorns and Roses. And that book is actually at the library being held for me. So I'm going to have to go grab that one. And then those are the books I need to get done because those are library books. But then I also have these 3 down here I actually own, along with The Fury I own as well. Well, they're right there, Wisdom Crowns. There's that Age of Madness book. I was looking for a different cover. But those are the books I got. These are the books I'll probably be reading in February. And that will be that. Probably a poopy video, but I'm going to throw it up on YouTube anyway. Second time trying to record this thing. But if you're here, I appreciate you. And I will probably see you at the end of February for the February update. Okay, see you, bye.